Hi guys, Vande Matram to all of you. I'm your teacher Mr. Basoraj Nipani. Welcome you all to Sir Kalam Tutorial YouTube education channel. Guys, as you all know, in my previous class, I have discussed about chapter number first of Democratic Politics second, Standard 10th CBSE, that is power sharing. So in today's class, I am going to discuss about the second chapter of your civics textbook, that is federalism. So federalism is a very important lesson that can be studied in this class, and I am going to give lecture on this lesson into 4 different videos. Let me start part first. So now let us see what contents we are going to study from this lesson. What are the important contents and what are the important topics of federalism lesson? Let us glance here. We are going to discuss introduction, in which we are going to understand the meaning and the definition of federalism, and in the second topic we shall study about what is federalism in detail. In the third topic we shall study what are the important features of federalism. In topic 4 we shall study what makes India a federal country, how India has become a federal country, that can be discussed in topic number 4. And in the fifth topic, we shall study about how is federalism practiced in India and how is federalism practiced in different countries, that can be discussed in topic number 5. And in the sixth topic, we shall discuss about decentralization of power in India, how power is decentralized in India, that can be studied in topic number 6. These are the important topics of this lesson, that is federalism. Now let us discuss about the introduction of this lesson. Guys, as you all know, in previous class we have discussed about power sharing, and we have also discussed about how power is shared among different organs of the government and how power is divided among different pressure groups, political parties, social groups, as well as we have discussed how power is shared into different levels of the government, such as union government, state government, and local or community government, that we have already studied. Having studied that, vertical division of power among different levels of government is one of the major forms of power sharing in modern democracy. Having studied power sharing from the last class, we came to know that vertical division of power sharing is one of the most important arrangement of power sharing in modern democracy. Vertical division of power sharing means power is shared into different levels of the government, such as union government, state government, local or community government. It is mostly referred to as federalism. So this kind of system, this kind of power sharing arrangement is called federalism. This refers to federalism. And in this lesson we are going to discuss and describe what is federalism in general terms. At the same time, we are also going to understand the theory and practice of federalism, especially what is federalism and how federalism is practiced, and what is the important theory of federalism in India. That is what we are going to discuss in this lesson. And at the same time, we are also going to discuss federal constitutional provisions which are followed by India. Even that also we are going to discuss in this topic. And at the end of the lesson, we are going to discuss the policies of federalism and the politics, how the politics strengthened federalism in India, and how Indian government practiced federalism in India. Even that can be also discussed in this lesson. These are all called objectives of this lesson. And towards the end of the lesson, we are going to discuss and we are going to turn to the local government, how local government is organized and what are the important features of local government and what is the importance of local government in India. Even that can be studied in this lesson. So now let us try to understand the meaning of federalism. Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between the central authority and various constituent units of the country. So in general meaning, you can understand federalism. Federalism is nothing but it is a system of government in which the power is shared into different levels of the government, such as it has been shared among different levels of the government, central authority as well as various constituent units. Central authority means central government or union government, and other constituent units such as state government, local government, or other parts of or other tiers of governments. And when it comes to India, there are three tiers of government. Local government means it may be panchayat government, it may be corporation government, it may be municipality government, it may be town panchayat. There are various types. There are various tiers in local government, which can be studied in the last topic of the lesson about local government. So this is the small introduction of this lesson. Now let us move forward to discuss about the theory and practice of federalism in India as well as in other countries. Before going to study that, let us recall and revise what we have discussed in the previous class. As you all know, already we have studied the story of Belgium and Sri Lanka. So how social diversity accommodated in Belgium and how social diversity was not accommodated in Sri Lanka. We have discussed about two contrasted examples. So the story of Belgium was totally different and the story of Sri Lanka was totally different. As you all know, there were different diversities, there were differences between linguistic communities and regional communities, religious communities, minority communities. We have seen lot of diversities in both the countries, but their approach towards sharing the power was totally different from one another. When it comes to Belgium, the leaders of Belgium shared the power among all the levels of the government, and they shared the power among two different regions, and they also gave power to the capital city, the central government of Belgium, that is Brussels government. But when it comes to Sri Lanka, instead of sharing power, the majority government, Sinhala community enjoyed all the powers of the government. That showed the unitary form of government. Unitary form of government means that maybe only central government or all the other tiers of governments are subordinate to central government. Means always the power of the country or the power of the government will be enjoyed by only one level of government, that is central government. If the central government has all the powers and control over all the states, all the other tiers of government, that is called unitary form of government. Federal form of government means here central government has its own power and other tiers of governments are also have their own power. These both examples we have discussed in the previous lesson. So now let us study. This is an example of Belgium. In Belgium, what measures were taken by Belgian leaders to share the power to get rid of unitary form of government? Belgian leaders amended their constitution, and according to the amendment of constitution which took place in the year 1993, they gave some powers and privileges of central government to state governments such as the government of Wallonia and the government of Flemish. But earlier there were regional governments also, such as state governments were there, provincial governments were there, and even they also had their power, but central government was controlling the regional governments, means the state governments. Before also there were regional governments or state governments, but they were under the control of central government. But after the amendment of constitution which took place in the year 1993, Belgian leaders gave some powers. They gave away some powers of central government to state governments such as regional governments. And this time states are not going to be under the control of central government. They enjoy their own power, central government enjoy their own power. So I hope you are not being in confusion. Central government means the Brussels government here, state governments means the governments of Wallonia region and the government of Flemish region. So this time after the amendments, central government has its own power and the regional governments have their own power, and the regional governments are not subordinate to central government, means central government is not going to interfere in the government of regionals, and the regional governments are also not going to interfere in central government. They enjoy their power to each other. Got? This is what we call as federal system of government, in contrast to unitary form of government. But when it comes to Sri Lanka, there was completely different scenario. So Sri Lanka followed a unitary form of system. There was a central government in Sri Lanka, that was the majority government. All the powers and functions were done by only one single community, that was Sinhala community. So here Tamils were undermined, Tamil groups were not given any facilities, they were not given adequate attention, and all their claims and demands were ignored by majority government. And there was only one form of government, there was only one level of government, that was central government, which enjoyed all the powers and which controlled all the other kinds of regions in Sri Lanka. That is what we name as unitary form of government. So because to avoid this kind of unitary system, the emergence of federal government took place in different countries of the world. So let us once again remember the definition of federalism. Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between the central authority and the various constituent units of the country. And usually what happens, federations has two levels of government. Federation means, try to understand one simple thing, one basic thing. Federation means where some groups come together, or where some states come together and they form a federation. There will be two or more levels. Always in federal system of government, there will be two or more levels of governments. That may be provincial government, or that may be community government, or local government, or state government. Both these levels of the government enjoy their own power independently. And one more important thing which must be understood by us is, each level of government in federal system enjoy their own powers and functions. As I have already discussed about Belgium, they enjoy their own powers. So now let us try to understand what are the basic features of federalism. What are the basic features of federalism? First one is like this: there are two or more levels of government. In federalism, commonly we see there are two or more tiers of government. There might be two or more tiers, more levels. If there is only one tier of government, that is called unitary government. If there are two or more tiers, tires means not cycle tires, tires means different levels. And the second one, both the levels of government have their own jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means each level of government, such as state government and central government, have their own jurisdiction system. Jurisdiction system means what? They have their respective jurisdiction system, and the provisions of their government are mentioned in the constitution. They are constitutionally abided. So the existence and the authority of each tier of government is constitutionally guaranteed. Means the powers and functions which will be enjoyed by each level of government are laid down in the constitution. You got my point? They are not supposed to be given by anyone. Constitution only prescribes that state must enjoy these many powers, central government must enjoy these many powers. They are constitutionally guaranteed. They are guarantee. Powers and provisions of each level of government are guarantee. Nobody can snatch away. Nobody can overthrow all such powers which are provided by the constitution. When it comes to India, in Indian constitution, what are the powers and functions of central government and what are the powers and functions of state government and what are the powers and functions of local government are totally mentioned and laid down in our Indian Constitution. This is the second feature of federalism. And third one, the powers and the functions of each level of government are constitutionally guaranteed. That also I have discussed already. Both levels of governments have their own jurisdiction, and there are two or more levels of government. And the fourth one, that is, both levels of governments have the power to change the fundamental provisions of the constitution, but not unilaterally. So if they find any difficulties, if they find any law is not in favor of people, in favor of any state, or in favor of any community, they may change it. They may change it, but both the levels of government must give consent. Here, only one level of government cannot take decision alone. There must be consent from both the levels of governments when they are going to change some provisions which are prescribed in the constitution. If they wanna amend constitution, so unilaterally they cannot do it. Unilaterally means alone they cannot do it. Both the governments, such as state government and central government, must give their consent. They must come to one conclusion, and both together they can change, not unilaterally. This is also one of the important feature of federal system of government. And let us see the fifth one. I hope it is visible for you. Fifth one, the highest court of the country has the power to solve the disputes between both levels of governments. So when some problems arise between levels of governments relating to some common issues, relating to some interests, and relating to some developmental issues, and relating to some resource issues, when there will be problems between different levels of the government. For example, there are some problems between central government and state government. How these problems are addressed? How can be problems solved? Who solve these all problems? So here, when there are disputes or when there are issues between different levels of the government, the highest court of the country, not the court of state, not the court of, nor the court of any local authority, the highest court of the country. So when it comes to India, we have Supreme Court. When it comes to other countries, they have their own courts. So when there are disputes or quarrels or any issues between different levels of the government, the highest court acts as a judge, and the highest court act as an umpire. For example, when cricket is being played, there are two teams. When there will be dispute between two teams, the final decision will be taken by the umpire, right? The final decision will be taken by umpire. So here, the highest court of the country act as umpire between the disputes of levels of governments. For example, here disputes in the sense what? As you all know, there are some quarrels. There are some quarrels between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu because of Kaveri river. You got my point? This is the issue of two states. So here, central government must take some decisions. It should solve the problems between both the states. This is the problem between two different states. But sometimes there will be issues between central government and state government relating to some national issues. In such cases, highest court will take the decision and it will play the role of umpire. This is also one more important feature of federalism. Let us see sixth one. The federal system of government safeguard and promote unity of the country. So this system of government is very, very important and good for democracy. Especially it is good for democratic governments because it promotes the unity of the country, because both the levels of government work for the development and for the better life of citizens. State government and central government, when they are working together, if they have their own power, definitely there will be no disputes. And if they are working together like two ox for one bullock cart, definitely they can reach their destiny. So this is what they promote, unity, and they promote oneness among the citizens of the country, which helps to develop the administration of country and the economy of the country. So they safeguard they safeguard themselves, they safeguard their state, as well as they safeguard the citizens, and they promote unity among the citizens of the country. And seventh one, both the levels of the governments have their own separate revenue system. So revenue system means in regard to taxation, in regard to collection of taxes and other kinds of issues. They have their own revenue system. Each level of government enjoys its own taxation system. So how much tax should be collected by central government? It will be written in the constitution, and how much percentage of tax must be collected by state government? It is written down in the constitution. So here there are no issues between central government and state government. They have their separate revenue system. If central government is asking 10 rupees, state government may ask 11 rupees, or it may ask 9 rupees. They have their own powers. There is no any issue between, and there is no any connection between central government and state government. They can enjoy their resources, and they can practice their own type of revenue system relating to taxation and relating to any other kind of issues which relates to resources. So these all are called some important features of federal government, and let us see the last one also. Federal system of government accommodates regional diversity and social diversity. When powers and privileges are divided between different levels of government, automatically they accommodate social diversity. This system accommodates different social diversity as well as regional diversities. Means Karnataka state has its own government, Tamil Nadu has its own government, each states have their own government. So then there will be definitely no issues, right? And for entire country we have one government, that is central government. So when each region enjoys its own power and they can look after their citizens, they can bring good policies to develop their state, develop their region, to solve the problems of their state. So this is what we call as accommodating regional diversity. At the same time, it also helps to promote dignity of the country, it also promotes the unity of the country, and it also helps to accommodate social diversity. Social diversity means there will be different kinds of communities based on caste, creed, gender, religion, and many other aspects. For all such communities, we can facilitate, each states can facilitate its own communities, its own people based on different kinds of communities, based on different kinds of aspects such as gender, caste, religion and many other aspects. So this helps in accommodating social diversity, where people can come together and live in oneness, and they can work for the betterment of the country, right? This is what we call as accommodating social diversity. And there are two types of federal countries. There are two systems in federal system, and many countries are federal countries in the world today, and there are two different systems in federal system. One is coming together federation, and the another one is holding together federation. Let us see coming together federation and holding together federation. What is coming together federation? The exact balance of power between the central and the state government varies from one federation to another federation. So means, as I have already told you, there are two kinds of federations. This balance depends upon mainly on the historical context in which the federation was formed. There are two kinds of routes through which federations have been formed. So here some countries come forward to have federations on the basis of their history and background of the country. So here they may consider the background of the country, the culture, tradition, customs and many other aspects, and they all come together as one federation by their own interest, on their own interest, by following their traditions, customs, rituals and many other aspects. So they come on their own, they come forward to have one federation. For example, United States of America. You can see United States of America is a country which has a lot of countries in it. That is what we call as federal country. So here different provinces, different states or different countries come together to have a single federation. That is what we call as coming together federation. This is one root. And which are called coming together federation countries? USA means United States of America, Switzerland and Australia. These are the examples of coming together federation countries. And the next is holding together federation. Holding together federation means what? This is the second root, where a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. So here it only relates to larger countries. Larger countries means the countries which are expanded. In countries where there is large population. Okay. For example, when it comes to India, India is the largest country in which there are 30 states. When it comes to China, China is also a big state, but China is not a federal country. And when it comes to some other countries such as Spain, Belgium and many other countries. So when there are larger countries, it depends upon the government of the country whether they should give and share power to other constituent units or what. So here some countries have decided to share their power to other constituent units such as states, such as provinces. This is what we call as holding together federation. Means having said this, the country decides to share the power among different levels of the government. That is what we call as holding together federation. Means all the states together come forward and have one federation. That is what we call as holding together federation. So India is a holding together federation country. And another example, Spain and Belgium. They come forward to have federations of different states of different regions, as it is seen in Belgium, and we can also see this system in Spain. And as we all see in our country, there are 30 states. All the 30 states have come together and they have one federation, that is India. This is all about the first part, what is federalism and what are the different features of federalism. In my next video we shall continue other topics. Thank you, take care, bye bye. Subscribe my channel, share this video to your friends in other WhatsApp groups, in your Facebook account, so that all the CBSE students of our country can get the benefit of my video. Thank you once again.